Cyrus, we're looking for a good story from your past. What comes to mind when we ask for a finance strategic moment?
I'll just use a straight example or a story as you sort of described it. Um, when in my previous job, one of the hot buttons was really how do we pay people on their on commissions, right? Commissions can be one of those things where if you don't structure compensation right, it can drive the wrong behavior, and B, it can not be a fair sort of exchange of value between the company and the person, our company and the people. And so one of the things that we found was there was a disconnect between the way in which our salespeople were paid for some of the services revenue that they were generating, not in our current business, in one of the prior companies that I worked with. And there was also a disconnect between how the delivery people were paid. So all the salespeople cared about was, hey, I got to get top line. If I get top line, I get paid, so I'm good. And all the delivery people cared about was, I want to put as many people as possible on this job so my utilization metrics look good and everything else looks good, right? So there was this disconnect where the salesperson would be like, hey, I'm going to try and get some more revenue, but the delivery guy is trying to load as much cost as possible. So what happens in the middle, once I've paid commissions to everyone, it could be that we might have, loss-making projects that have not been well thought out. So we thought about that as a team, and we're like, okay, what's the ideal, right? The ideal is what we want to give people is the ability to earn the same amount of money or more, but we want them to give us something. So we told the sales guys, listen, we're going to get you metrics around everything, and you're going to be able to trust them because we're going to publish them. It's going to be transparent, and we want you guys to be involved in this. But what we want you to do is go and sell as much revenue, but sell it at the right profit margin. Like sell it with the right people, consult with delivery, make sure that delivery buys into what you're selling and price it correctly. And then if you have pricing leverage with your client, go get a little more. If you can do that and you get to the target margin, we'll give you more, a little bit more than what you were getting before. But if you can get a higher margin, we'll share more with you. No problem. But if you get it at a lower margin, we're going to take money away from you. So it wasn't just all give. It was like, hey, you guys, we're all adults, and they're all pretty smart guys. You know how to sell. Go sell well. Go consult with your delivery teams and make sure that you're not just selling stuff and giving things away. And we told the delivery folks, we want you to think about this as your business. If you were running a one-man shop, not literally, but if you were running a one-man shop, how would you use your resources? How many projects would you take on? How much time would you spend on each one? And think about those metrics. And then we had the systems built already that allowed everyone to see the data completely transparently. So there was full trust in what we were providing them from a finance team perspective, which was absolutely critical, because imagine if I put all these things in and then the data just wasn't there, or the data did not make sense. There would be a lack of trust. There would be a complete breakdown in how the businesses were aligned. And so finance was completely transformative in that moment. And I wouldn't say it was just finance. It was finance and operations, delivery, the sales team, the sales leadership, our CEO and the COO, all of us working together to put these plans together. And what happened, the net result, right? So you'd be like, so what? What's the big deal with that? What happened is when I joined the business, our margins on one part of our business were roughly 20%. And by the time we sold the business last year, they were double that. So significant increase in overall GP in that business line. And by the way, this was with us paying more commissions than we would have paid because we got salespeople aligned well. And every year we would pay more to the delivery folks as well. So it just took away all sorts of issues from the business about, hey man, inflation's up. I need to get my eggs and I need whatever, 3% more. It's like, no, you got 15% more on your bonus last year because you did so well. Keep doing that. Now, if you want to take on more responsibility and you want to move up in life and you want to get a promotion and you want to, so let's have that conversation. So that was a clear transformative or strategic moment for me that finance plays a role in the future of the business way more than we think it does. And if we're not participating in that, we're just along for the ride, and that is not good.
We're up to our final question where we ask you to look forward. And what we want to know, Cyrus, are your CFO priorities for the coming 12 months. What would those be?
Kind of covered all of them before, but I'll recap them for you right now. It's really getting the systems, processes, the ERP tool, all of that really working well. It's making sure that my people are happy and making sure that they have a clear path to where they can progress. My view about people that work with me is they should want my job, right? They should actively aspire to take my job. If I'm doing that and they're doing that, we're in a great spot. And so that's what I want to do. And if they have needs or learnings and things like that, or exposure, just sometimes it's just exposure. Hey, get on this call with me and just listen in. Don't say anything. Just listen in to what's happening, because just that gives people the ability to say, hey, I did that and it's not that difficult and you can do it. Listen, everyone that works with me is smarter than me. That's always going to be the case. That way I can chill and they can work. But it has to be in a way. And then really bringing together this One Orion aspect, that's the immediate priorities, those three, systems, people, and One Orion. And then practically speaking, I do want to put the FP&A tool in next year. I want to get a much better handle on our ability to forecast. Because if we can do that, we can guide the business so much better in terms of making investments, getting people on board, where are we going to grow, what are we going to do, things like that. So that's my priorities.